guess I'll just get you guys to say your name, and then like what company, organisation you're here from. We'll go this way.
My name's Alize and I'm with Corrugated.
My name is Mon and I'm from The Push.
And my name's Aarti and I'm also from The Push.
Nice.
Yes.
So I'm really interested because you are actually the first young people that I've had in today to talk to, which is really nice because I'm also a young artist.
Yeah.
I am really interested in hearing from you guys. For you, what is the most prominent issue? Because I know for a lot of people that run the companies, it's funding. Funding has been a big word. But when funding isn't your gig, when that's not, you don't sit down with the balance sheet, and that's kind of not within your wheelhouse. Like, what is the issue that is stuck out to you? And is it that you want to be more involved with funding, like for an example? I'm just interested to know, like, what do you care about? Because not all these conversations have been pertinent to young artists themselves.
Yeah, I think what stuck out to me is, or what I'm kind of like finding very frequent is like the feeling of not having the courage to like speak in a space where it's so dominated by like the same demographic. And especially like at The Push, like we started a new project with like, can I say this? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's public.
With Vic Health, and it's been kind of challenging because I feel like, I think it, like from past experience, it's just been hard to voice myself and like have the support and like the trust, especially the trust. I feel like the issues are like funding and the way that things are, programs and events are delivered, but like the main core is like youth, like the young people and like leaderships that we need more of.
Yeah.
Like just the power imbalance is just kind of an issue for me, and like obviously like diversity and representation. Yeah.
So I guess bouncing off that, my question for all three of you actually, what does your dream arts organisation look like? Like, we're talking utopia, you get to change the world, you can make the sky purple if you want. I'm interested in knowing, like, if you had that power, what does youth arts, the space you want to work in, look like?
The thing I think of is like, I know that when my job is done, for The Push, where our kind of vision statement is that every young person has the opportunity to participate and thrive in Australian music, and the way we do that is making sure that, like for us, we know our job is done when all ages events are just a normal thing, like anyone can attend a music show, and when the pathway into the music industry is clear and there's no barriers for anyone to enter, like anyone can enter and feel safe and thrive in that space. So I think I'm like, but then at that stage the Push would just no longer exist. Like there would be no purpose for us to exist anymore, I think. Well, maybe unless we like changed our purpose, but that's all I'm thinking is like, in a perfect world, that's what's happened, and then we have no more work to do.
Yeah, which I think is Adam's thing of like, you do your job to put yourself out of a job.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting.
But I guess on the way there, I think we've taken the first step of hiring a couple of young people into the team, which is really awesome. And I think it's figuring out how to empower, like, you know, give them all the information and knowledge that they need, or that you need, to kind of make the decisions and have the full context to like do it with confidence, I suppose. That's the thing that I'm figuring out at the moment, I suppose.
Yeah, because I think it's interesting when it hasn't been done before, figuring out like, what power do you give to young people, and when do you acknowledge that there's a knowledge gap there that you have to fill, and you can't just put them in that power, have them not know what to do and then go, wow, I was right. You have to be like, no, we're going to remedy the knowledge gap here, and we're going to give them the tools to fill the roles of the people that perhaps need to step back. Step back. I'm interested from you guys, because there's been a comment on like the difference in age between participants, that it's a youth arts summit, and the youth are the minority. What's like, if you had one question to ask all people, like I'm gonna say 26 and up. If you had everyone 26 and up in a room, what would you ask them?
Like,
What do you want them to answer?
I would just ask them, like, are you listening to young people?
Yeah.
Like, taking action and, like, solving these issues.
Like,
That's what
yeah.
I would ask them. Just, like, a simple question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a question you ask?
I don't know. I think I'd ask if they were actually like taking the things we say and putting them into action.
Yeah.
Because by the looks of it, it's not happening as much as it should be.
Yeah.
Or if they're twisting it a little bit to make it how they want it.
Mm. Which I think is really interesting. And it's a transparency thing, right? You want to see where the words from your mouth end up in these organisations, which is really exciting. And then I guess I'll ask one final question, because I'm genuinely interested in the answer. With the organisations that you guys work with, what do you think the next step is? Which was broached with you, like we're starting to hire young people and we're starting to like put value on the organisational work that young people do behind the scenes, which I think is so cool as somebody who works like that in a theatre organisation. I'm interested in like, what's the next step? What are you and your facilitators doing?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's so hard for me because I love the push. Like, I've like been in like the programs and the events, and I think like the next step would just be to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's an answer.
I think that's a very valid answer.
And just keep, involving us, and I don't know, because like everyone that we work with is like very passionate and like genuine with their connections and like prioritizing young people and giving like opportunity and accessibility. So I think just like continuing to do that is like, I'd be happy with that.
And I think that's so valid. And then with Corrugated Iron.
Yeah, at Cora they have this thing called the Champions, and it's like a group of young participants that sort of make a lot of decisions that go towards Cora. And I think that at the moment they're trying to make it bigger and have a younger age for it, and they're trying to make it so they make quite a few decisions for how things go.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's what it all comes down to, right? Letting the young people make the decision and not making the decision for the young artists.
Yeah. And not talking at the people.
We're not an object.
And talk with.
Like, I'm 21 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not an object to be commodified in terms of like what seats on bums do I attract. We're artists creating art. Thanks for that. That was a really good chat, guys.